Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain
And good afternoon. Welcome to Today at the Races here at Laurel Park on what's going to hopefully be a beautiful Sunday afternoon. The sun's coming out. No matter what, it's Ben's Cat Day. The four-time Maryland-bred Horse of the Year, Ben's Cat, the 10-year-old, makes his return today for the Hall of Famer King T. Leatherberry.
And it's always awesome to see that horse come back to the races each and every season. You know, King Leatherberry, they have him on a schedule. He pretty much does the same thing each and every year that he comes back. And he's coming back today and hopes to prep for the Jim McKay, as we'll quickly approaching there in just a couple weeks' time on Preakness weekend. So a lot of things to look forward to. And now old Cat is back.
The Cat's back. He likes the soft turf. We're on the grass today. Our turf course has never been better. All the trainers and jockeys been very complimentary of it. Looks phenomenal. It's listed as good. It's not even soft or yielding today. It needed some more water in it.
It did. And we kind of noticed that last weekend and even earlier this week as well. So I think the turf is really handling the moisture that we have been getting, but the main track is muddy. It is sealed. We got some rain in the area this morning, but as we said, the main track usually handles it very well, and definitely the turf.
We're on the Kelso and the Fort Marcy turf course today, and of course the allowance feature of the day, that open allowance race with Ben's Cat, race 4. That's on the Fort Marcy, and there's the weather. 60s, a little rain. Hopefully the sun's coming out. I hear it's supposed to clear up later on. Main track listed as muddy, and our turf course is listed as good. First race post time is 1:10, and a couple nice carryovers today. They hit the pick 5 yesterday. It was a large pool. They bet a bunch of money into that with that big carryover yesterday. They hit the pick 5 yesterday for over $5,700. So no carryover today in the pick 5, but still be a nice pool with that low 12% takeout. Some nice carryovers on the super high 5, rolling super high 5s. That'll start in race 1 today, a little over $2,500. And we had almost a $34,000 payout on the super high 5 yesterday. And then our rainbow pick 6, that'll start race 5 today on our 10 race program. A little over $2,600 there for the rainbow pick 6 carryover. Let's get right to it. Lots to get to.
Looks like the sun is peeking.
Sun's coming out just in time here as we're getting ready for the opener. Let's take a look here at the opener. Nice carryover in the rolling super high 5. It's a $1 minimum play, low 15% takeout in the super high 5. Race 1 is a filly and mare beaten nickel race. Haven't won a race in 6 months, never won 4. Going a mile and a 16th on the main track. And there's the carryover, $2,512, and it's a $1 minimum play, low 15% takeout. And that big payout yesterday, and there's my ticket here. We had a big, almost $34,000 payoff in it yesterday. There's my ticket here. Number 8 on top here for the opener. On the outside, number 8, Love That. It's going to be the heavy favorite for our leading trainer, Kieran McGee. Fergal Lynch is aboard this 5-year-old mare. I'll use the 8 over the 4-7, over the 2-4-6-7, over the 2-3-4-6-7, then add the 5 down there with those on the bottom. That's an affordable $54 play for the rolling super high 5. Starts in race 1 with that nice carryover over $2,500.
I like that ticket. It looks like a very manageable ticket, and you have the 4-7 there in the second leg and 2-4-6-7 in the third. So again, I think that's a very, very hittable ticket. As we quickly approach here race 1, we'll take a look at this race, and obviously Kieran McGee does bring out the 7 Articulate and the 8 Love That. You and I are in agreement that maybe Love That would be the one who's a little bit more trustworthy. Not only that, Stan, she does have a lot of early speed, and she might even be the fastest of all and have the ability to dictate in here.
And the horse has been in good form on the turf, going back to the dirt today. And Kieran McGee, good stats with that. Turf to dirt, he's 48%. And this horse is dropping from those open 75 conditions to this beaten nickel. That's a big drop there. The 7's dropping as well with Trevor McCarthy, who's having a big weekend. However, the 7 Articulate just hasn't been in that good a form. That said, I throw that one into the exact as well because I respect the strong connections here.
Yeah, and Love That, again, she has proven that she can take her speed to a distance of ground, as she proved way back at Aqueduct a couple years ago when she went the one-turn mile in the slop. So she's proven that she likes an off-track. She has the speed. The 7 Articulate, though, again, she's been very lightly raced over the course of the past year. Some of her main track races, at least recently, are kind of questionable, including that one when she was 4-1 at Penn National against first-level allowance horses. So, again, maybe she has a good bottom to her against that company last time out on the turf, and she can transition it. I am just more trusting of the other horse. Is she it, though? A very, very solid turf horse that she had to compete against. You and I both like the 4 Even Prettier. I put her in the second spot here. I like the fact that the blinkers come off. She was just narrowly defeated last time out, but I thought she had some excuses even 2 starts back. We saw Lightning Fast Girl take the field gate to wire. My only concern is she has the ability to sit close to the pace. I'm just thinking that Love That might be awfully hard to catch on the front end.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but I throw the 4 in there as well. Sharp effort last time to getting beat just a neck. The Silver Bouquet had to come a little wide in that race, but you see the comment line. It was a game effort there. Victor Carrasco, you still get a top rider on the 4 Even Prettier. Susan Cooney, good barn. That's a nice price there on that one, 6-1.
Victor Carrasco with several winners on yesterday's card. He's slowly but surely closing the gap on Trevor McCarthy, so it's going to be really a battle to the finish as we cap things off next Sunday, actually. It's all happening so fast.
Kentucky Derby weekend next week, and you see Nyquist. He's down there with Doug O'Neill. Be here before you know it. Preakness 3 weeks from yesterday.
Yep, I know. The anticipation is starting to begin, so a lot of action in the next couple of weeks.
I think we have a nice Kentucky Derby party here next weekend right here at Laurel Park. It's been a while since we've had a Derby weekend here at Laurel Park, but we're ready to throw a party.
We're ready to do it, and a lot of excitement leading up to the weekend, and after Derby and then leading into the Preakness, it's kind of like an absolute windstorm, but it's going to be fun.
Yep, and Doug O'Neill already making his reservations for the Monday after Kentucky Derby to come up here, not only hopefully with Nyquist, if all goes well down there in that Preakness prep, but he's bringing some other runners up here for
It'll
all.
It'll be like deja vu all over again when he was in town with I'll Have Another. So we always welcome those connections to Maryland.
Yep. All right.
Anyway, race 2.
Yeah,
we'll
get back here. We got triple count fever already here on Ben's Cat Day. But race 2 kicks off the first of 3 pick 4s here this afternoon. Live handle yesterday. We were over 3 million, I believe, yesterday. The pick 4s were huge. Our late pick 4 had, I believe, almost 30,000 in it. So race 2 is going to kick off the early pick 4. Maiden 25, Filly Mares 3 and up, 5.5 on the main track. Scratch to 3, Piney Blues. And also scratched, as the wind's getting me here, the 7 Desert Princess is scratched, and I go with the 6 on top. And you like the 6 as well. Dropping here for trainer Bill Comlow, Javion Toledo. He had a win yesterday. He's going to start winning a bunch of races here. The turf effort last time, don't worry about that. Looked 2 back in a nice maiden special weight race. A good second that day to Clock Struck 12, who was a sharp winner that day for trainer Mike Trombetta. This horse getting back to the dirt, off track today. Hasn't ever run on off track today. Maybe that's a little bit of a question mark, but a big drop from that maiden special weight to maiden 25 here.
And I agree with you. I even think her turf race last time out, she chased pretty strong opening quarter half fractions too, and that could maybe tee her up for being really quick out of the gate today, and I think that she could play to her advantage. She's taken a big drop from that maiden special weight company, and Bill Comlow again does a very good job with his horses. So you and I agree. I don't think you're going to get the as advertised price, as we do have Scratch of Piney Blues in the 9-5 morning line favorite, but the 4 Nere is one that I'll be paying attention to. This 3-year-old filly by Bob and John out of a Pulpit mare. Hammy Smith brings this filly out, and just looking at some statistics for the barn, with his dirt sprinters and maiden claimers in their debut. 23% out of a 47 horse sample size, and that's a $3.31 positive ROI. They finish in the money 51% of the time too. So some really strong statistics to back them up. You know, we say this time and time again, you know they're going to be fit.
Yeah, he'll be ready. You see the works down there at his brother's place in South Carolina, the Ellery Training Center. Some nice works right here at Laurel Park. Some bullets down there at Ellery. He gets Alex Cintron, who's been doing very well the past couple weekends. They're 67% from a 6-horse sample here recently, so that's pretty strong. Gets Lasix in debut. I respect all that and throw the horse into the exact. And I'll throw another first-timer in there for the top 3, the 1 Tango Delta. I don't like the inside post down there, but Jerry Robb is good with these first-time starters as well, and he gets the leading rider, Trevor McCarthy, here.
Tough post. We don't really know what kind of speed she'll show from the rail, but I agree with you. High statistics for John Robb in his first and second-time starters. Miss Show is one I'll throw in there, who she seemed to be a little bit quicker out of the gate last time out. She made the lead. She dueled early, and she kind of just had a tendency to fall back from there. But I'm thinking that an off-track and her speed might carry her a little bit farther today.
And that's another. Don't forget that we got an off-track today, so you kind of got to readjust all your handicap and see how things are going throughout the day. It's drying out now, so we might have one of those tricky tracks.
It's drying out throughout the
drying
afternoon.
out through the yep. So we'll monitor that for you. Race 3, we get on the turf on the Kelso turf course here for race 3. Rails at 35 feet for this 1 mile. Starter allowance optional, claiming 25,000. Just checking the scratches in here. Scratch the 6 Bank of Stars at a race 3, and also that's it. And then scratch the 11 off the AE. That horse isn't going to run. The 11 Spring Mountain Mist is scratched. My top pick in here is the 3 Pauline's Pride. I've liked this 5-year-old daughter of Dance with Ravens for a while. Gretchen Mobley bred, owned, and trained the horse, and sadly we lost Gretchen, but her horse is still going on, and Pauline's Pride, good second last time at this level, going short. This horse has won before going long on the grass here at Laurel Park. Stretches back out today. Javion Toledo aboard.
And in that race against that starter optional claiming condition, she was actually, by buyer speed figures, kind of well atop the rest of the field. She kind of had an omni-fig in comparison to the rest of the field that particular race. But still, I know I didn't like her in there because I thought, well, she doesn't have a lot of speed at 2 turns. How's she going to show any speed or close-in time at a sprint distance at the 5.5? But she proved me wrong. She really put in a powerful closing kick at 5.5, and you can only think that she will improve now getting back to 2 turns. I even think she went farther than the mile, but I like the slow and steady progression. And she's a horse that has a lot of talent, and even looking at the pace scenario, there are a couple of horses who are stretching out from sprint distances that have speed. They might be a bit suspect at 2 turns.
We agree a lot here early on.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a good day out here. Gretchen, she's bred some nice turf horses. Heroes Award, a former Maryland bred champion, she bred that one. So Pauline's Pride for the estate of Gretchen Mobley. John Saul's been
Hammy Smith over there in the...
There's Hammy. We got you. We got you. We got you
in the
for a
crowd
couple first-timers.
saying pick me's. Should we listen to him?
Yep.
We'll move on here. The 9 Access to the Moon. This is a horse who I kind of like in the exact. Honestly, you look at her back races. She was previously trained by Larry Murray, but she's always a mare that takes a few starts to really get into her best running style. At least a few starts off of the layoff too. And she's another one who I think will benefit from the potential suspect pace in front.
Yeah, she had some sharp efforts on the grass here last summer at Laurel Park. Almost won an allowance race last summer at Laurel Park, and a decent race off the layoff for Cal Lynch, and second off the layoff here. I think this is a little bit of a class relief coming from that allowance to the starter condition and Fergal Lynch aboard here. So I used the horse in my top 3. I'll throw the 1 Pernada into my exacta. Trevor McCarthy riding for Kieran McGee. Trevor's going to save all the ground here on this 4-year-old filly breaking from the inside. Good second last time to Killington. It was a runaway winner that day for Alex White.
And I believe that horse was coming off a layoff too, and she really ran a big race. I'll throw in the 7 Key d'Oro. Is 3-1 on the morning line stand, but you look at her races down in South Florida, and she has shown the ability to run well against, the $30,000 non-winners of 2, but she's also shown the ability to get beat at a $16,000 non-winners of 2. So maybe she's one that just keeps finding a horse to beat, but she is consistent coming into this event.
Yeah, she always picks up check. Only 1 win out of 13 starts, but overall 8 times out of 13 in the money. So she's always right there. And Nick Juarez nice big win yesterday in our allowance feature
Yeah.
on the Captain Dixie.
Captain Dixie, that was a big performance for him. So
Excited to see where he'll end up next. Maybe the Dixie next for Captain Dixie.
we very well could see, aptly named there.
Yeah.
The fourth race, though, we head out to the Fort Marcy, 5.5 furlongs for this really nice allowance race. Obviously, you could say our feature race of the day as we welcome Ben's Cat back to the races, and always a lot of excitement here. Now, it's always a big question. We saw King Leatherberry quoted as, he's not looking for a big number. King Leatherberry is obviously a big numbers guy. He's not looking for a big number for Ben's Cat. First off the layoff, he's really just conscientious and worried about the Jim McKay Turf Sprint eventually. But this horse has been capable of winning off the layoff. Last year, not the case, but I can remember going into his race off the layoff last year. I think they were a work or two short. He wasn't really primed and geared. I think that's not going to be the case this afternoon.
And it was the same kind of similar condition last year when he came off the layoff. It was a wide open allowance condition. He was a good second to Bold Thunder, who had been running extremely well down at Gulfstream last year and had a couple races under his belt for Alan Goldberg. So
he was lone speed, if I remember correctly, in a short field too. So there was really nothing Ben's Cat could have done in that situation.
But I believe we have a video of one of Ben's Cat's many wins. He's 30 wins a lifetime from 53 starts. He's just a few bucks shy of $2.5 million in career earnings.
And this was in the Mr. Diz, a race that he's actually won 6 times. So a 6-time winner of the Mr. Diz, and this was his actually last victory. And this was came on Maryland Pride Day on the 22nd of August, and he closed from off the pace. And again, he did what he does best, and that is win. Now he did, right here, he caught a little bit of competition to the horse to his inside, but he hung on gamely. Now today, Trevor McCarthy picks up the mount on Ben's Cat. He is the horse to beat. Stan, don't get mad at me trying to beat him today, but obviously it's always very exciting to see him come back.
I pick him on top of that horse that he was beaten there in the Mr. Diz. And by the way, if he wins the Mr. Diz this year, it'd be a world record, 7 times in a row winning a stake. World record. So that's what Ben's got going for this year. He's also he's real close to passing Broad Brush on the all-time Maryland bred earners list. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
He's won coming off the layoff 3 times. When he came off the layoff in 2012, 2013, and 2014, he's won coming off the layoff, and he loves a soft turf. He's won on a soft, yielding turf before. We're good today. He loves a good turf course, so I think that helps him with the comeback race today.
I do agree with you. Always scared of the old Ben's Cat, and actually King Leatherberry won with a 9-year-old fresh off the layoff, sprinting on the turf. Wildcat.
He won with Classic Wildcat a couple weeks ago, and then he won with a Lightning Electric.
Lightning Electric, that
9-year-old.
was the old 9-year-old. So capable of getting these horses fresh and ready. I want to go back and take a look at the replay, though, of the 4 Rapid Dan. Because this is a horse who I've been following for the past couple of starts. I was hoping that we'd get to a bit of a firmer course today, but even though it's listed as good, we'll see how it plays as we get to race 4 today. But this is a horse who he actually didn't get off to a good start. He was bumped around at the break. Javier Castellano was aboard this day, and he looks to try to go outside of horses. And then I thought he was putting in a really, really game run behind some classy 2 other than horses at Saratoga. We can see him make this grinding run, and then he kind of gets shuffled and shut off here. You can see Javier Castellano kind of have to take back a little bit, and the winner kind of came closing from the outside. Since then, he's unfortunately been on a yielding course, a soft turf, and that was against Beantown Saint, a horse who loves Laurel, and he's very, very fast. So this is kind of an outsider that I'm looking to take a shot with, but like I said, you always have to respect Ben's Cat.
And the barn's been doing extremely well. Dale Capuano has really been gaining some steam here this meet. Monster Sleep in a big win, had a win here Friday with Oversaver, gets Jevion Toledo aboard. Rapid Dan coming off the layoff for a hot barn. You're going to get a nice 12-to-1 price in there in the Ben's Cat race. I throw the 2 Night Officer in there, hoping for the same exact that we saw in the Mr. Diz. And then we both like the 1 as well, Aztac Brave, part of the Joe Sharp entry. Alex Centron aboard this horse. This horse is a runner. He can run 103 buyers. This is a fast horse here.
He's very, very fast. I almost question, though, is he a better miler than 5.5 turf sprinter? This is specialist distance, oftentimes you get horses like Two Notch Road, like Bent's Cat. They're through and through turf sprinters, whereas Aztec Brave, I think he might be a bit more effective with his early speed going a distance of ground. He did run a really good race last time out, but once again, that's 2 turns, 7.5 furlongs. So I think it gives him the ability to settle more going longer.
And you mentioned Two Notch Road. It's we need to mention rider change on the Cat today. Trevor McCarthy is going to take over on Ben's Cat today. Julian Pimentel, who's been on the horse for a long time, Julian Pimentel will be on arrival today on the 3 Two Notch Road, who has 2 wins from 3 starts here at Laurel Park.
And just King T. Leatherberry quoted in a press release that we did give out, just saying, Julian Pimentel has done absolutely nothing wrong in the past. It was just a little bit of an injury problem with Julian. So best of luck to all of those who are in that race. But that was a tough race. So Ben's Cat better have his running shoes on today.
Yep, he's going to walk right. Well, that's another advantage. Normally he's just shipping to Pimlico for the comeback race. Today he walks right from his barn here at Laurel Park over to the paddock. So it'll be good to see the 10-year-old back over here. Let's get a commercial break. We have our pick 6. Nice carryover in today's pick 6, over 2,600. Our pick 5, that'll start in race 6 today. We'll tackle those when we come back.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
Welcome back. Today at the races here at Laurel Park. Gabby Gaudette, I'm Stan Salter. Pick 6 starts in race 5 today. The Rainbow Pick 6. Nice carryover today, $2,645 in that 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. Some nice grass races later on in the sequence. We are on the grass today. Turf course listed as good. Main track sloppy. There's the carryover, a little over 2,600. Gabby's going to have a nice ticket today.
We do. We have a little ticket here to take a stab at. We have 4 horses in the first leg of the sequence, using the 4, 7, and the 8. As we get to race 6, just using 3 horses in that maiden special weight on the turf, going to the outside there with the 10, 12, and the 14. A horse that actually draws in off the also eligible to meet twice, the number 14. Keying off of the 2, Jayla Taché in the 7th race. She clearly looks like the one to beat coming out of strong races. 4 horses in race 8, just 2 in race 9, capping it off with 3 horses in today's finale, $57.60. We'll get to the 5th race, though, mile on the main track. This non-winners with 2 lifetime event, $7,500 tag. I'll start it off with a long shot stand. The 7 Seabray is going to be the play, 20-1 on the morning line, but does get Evian Toledo. Always definitely a good thing. And this horse, I thought, had just been running out of his class level in his past 2 starts. You go back to the maiden $14,000 win. It was at this distance, a mile. He closed, he won. Visually, it was solid. After that, they stepped him up to open $25,000 company. Way too tough. Even that last race, the open $15,000 company, we saw Twisted Earl, Holiday Moose, some horses who I thought were maybe a notch or 2 above him.
I like a long shot in here as well. This is these kind of races where you can go hunting for a long shot. These never win 2, claiming 7,500 here, going a mile. We do have a scratch on the 3 Savage River. Javion Toledo, I like him. Ferris Allen's horse, when he broke his maiden here at Laurel Park, he won at a big price, 15-1, so you'll be getting a nice price today. I go for a price on the outside, number 11, St. Eddie. Just broke his maiden last time in his 10th start, and it's the old Leatherberry angle. When it takes them a while to do something, when they break their maiden, they're a good bet right back. And he's a first-time gelding today. That's one of my favorite angles in horse racing. I think this horse is going well now for trainer Jerry Robb. Forrest Boyce back aboard, and she was aboard for the maiden win.
Okay, the 2 Punch 2, 10-1 on the morning line 2. Laurel Glazier stays in the saddle, and last time out was his best career race. Now, the only thing that I worry about now coming to an off track, he's 0 for 4 on an off track, and also that race might have set up for him a little bit. There was a couple of horses who kind of faltered, and the pace essentially collapsed, and it might have guided him a bit. But maybe he's a horse that's just kind of finally tuning in that you like him in the mix. You completely throw out the 2-1 morning line favorite, the 4, A Fleet Skier, who is a little bit questionable. He was very, very rank last time out.
Yeah, and that was just, he ran a decent race breaking the maiden at Parks, and this a total clunker facing winners for the first time. 40,000 two life up there at Aqueduct. Just didn't run a lick in there. He ducked in at the break, whatever. Now a big time suspicious drop down here to Maryland. Linda Rice, she is solid coming down here with her droppers. Caramanos takes the call. I throw the horse all the way out. 2-punch-2 was a good second last time. Colton's Grand was lone speed in that race. And then I throw the 1. I think that's UCC Ello Bello in the mix there. Nick Juarez riding for
Uccello Bello.
Uccello Bello.
I'm
Okay.
guessing it's an Italian name, Uccello Bello, right?
It's
We'll go with that.
definitely a talent. I didn't know if it was UCC like an email or the Uccello Bello. Dave Rodman will have the correct pronunciation. But Nick Juarez aboard for Marcus Vitale. They teamed up for a win yesterday. You saw this horse break its maiden down there at Gulfstream, 2 back.
UCC Bello. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that, like an email.
Yeah, like an
okay,
email,
like
right.
you're CCing. Okay, I get it. Let's move on to the 6th race. You've got a good pick 5, Stan.
Yeah, pick 5 starts right here in race 6. No carryover. They hit it yesterday for over 5,700, but still that very popular industry low 12% takeout on the pick 5 starts right here in race 6 on the Kelso turf course. Let's take a look at my ticket. A $72 ticket for today's pick 5. I'm going to go 6 deep here in this tough first leg. Maiden special weight 5.5 on the turf using a 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, 14, and then race 7. Nice allowance race for 3-year-old fillies there using a 2, 3, 8 there. My key horse best bet of the day in the Open 25 going long on the Fort Marcy turf course race 8. I like the 4 Dancing Lounge, who was just 3rd to perfect title in a 3 other than allowance condition, dropping down to this condition today. Jerry Brooks, Victor Carrasco, they teamed up with a short price favored 2 wonders on Friday. So I'm going right back to the hot connections today. Number 4 in race 8, then 3-11 in race 9, going 4 deep in the finale, 10, 12, 13, 14. Let's take a look here at the first leg. Maiden special weight, 5.5 furlongs on the Kelso, rails at 35 feet. Scratch a few horses in here. Scratch the 6, Certain Something, and also the 11, Bay Built, so that's going to draw in a couple important AEs. The 13 Packer Jack 5-1 draws in, as well as the 14 Tempt Me Twice 3-1 draws in off the AE.
And Tempt Me Twice figures to be pretty well bet. Put in a really solid race last time out, coming in off the December layoff. Zapata we saw show a lot of unusual early speed and actually took the field gate to wire. Tempt Me Twice, though, a really solid runner-up performance. That was the first time they put the blinkers on this horse, and it seemed to make him focus and use his speed early. So you have to pay attention when you're playing the pick 6 and the pick 5. This horse does draw in off the AE, and he's a danger.
He is. He comes from a real nice turf family. He's a half brother to Flash Phelps, Action Andy, Saintly Love, all those nice horses out of this mare. Love Me Twice, Temple City, a nice Dynaformer sire. I used the horse in my exacta. I put the 10 on top, though. Mackenzie T. Callie Francois for trainer Glenn Thompson. And you had to look at this a few times, make sure you weren't seeing things. As a maiden, this horse ran an allowance race coming off a layoff and almost won at like 111-1. Got an 80 by her speed figure. Does she bounce off that or run back? If she runs back close to that, she'll be very tough in here.
There might be enough time in between that race and then today's race, but she does have the speed. Yes, she did face first level allowance horses without even breaking her maiden. So she is facing an easier field, but she is facing the boys here today. So that's maybe something to pay attention to. I also used the 12 Joseph in here for Rodney Jenkins. You go back to July. This horse at least has a little bit of a race off the layoff back in November, but he's going to have to prove that he's going to be sharpened to fire off the layoff. But that turf race was very, very good. He was kind of down on the inside. He checked at the half-mile pole, regathered himself, and really kicked on from there. He was just beaten narrowly behind a horse I know you have always liked, Q.
Yeah, Q from last summertime. We just saw the message there from our TV crew. There's a late scratch in race 6 here. Number 13, Packer Jack, is scratched there in race 6, which kicks off our pick 5. All right. Turn the page here. Race 7 is going to kick off our late pick 4. Almost 30,000 in the late pick 4 here yesterday afternoon. Race 7, very nice allowance feature here for 3-year-old fillies. Other than 6 furlongs on the main track. Scratch to 4, Trace of Grace. also the 6 Channel Regatta, and the 9 Wilma Lynn from race 7.
And we'll show the replay of the 2 Jay Latasha in her last victory there. She showed some early speed, and she was actually dueling with another horse on the inside. This Song Is About You, a nice Mike Trombetta, Larry Johnson horse, and they just kind of battled it out on the front end. And that filly actually she didn't run so well coming back out of that race, but she did give her a run for her money, and this filly, Jay Latash, just said, nope, not today. Kicked clear really easily, actually, in that event under Trevor McCarthy. Trevor McCarthy is back once again here today. And the thing that I liked about this race, it kind of proved her credibility, in my opinion, because she was coming out of a very, very tough maiden special weight back on the 6th of March stand behind, when she was third behind Lightstream, who came back to win the Grade 3 Beaumont at Keeneland. We also saw Karina, the second place finisher, come back and take a maiden special weight at Keeneland. So that was a very tough field.
Yeah, I don't try to beat her. I pick her on top. I do use a 3 and the 8 on my pick 5 ticket here, but sharp win for a sharp barn last time. McCarthy back aboard today. Tap Diva, who was third in that race, that Jay Latash won, came back to win. So this horse, first time in the mud today. If she likes the mud, she'll be in front and just probably glide home.
And you use the 3 Karaoke Queen, and I was battling back and forth. I would use the 1 as kind of a sneaky horse, but I was battling back and forth between the 3 and the 7. I'll get to the 7 in a second, but this filly, obviously, she was a high-price purchase. She cost $400,000 at the sale, and she showed that she was precocious enough to win and debut. Now the blinkers come on. That was the only thing that I thought kind of odd.
Yeah, that was kind of painful. I loved Brenda Bella in that race. Was a 10-1 first-time starter. Was in front, and this filly Karaoke Queen ran her down. But look at the comment there at the start. This filly made a right-hand turn at the start, and it almost ended up in the wetlands over there. But then Caramanos got her straightened back out, and she rallied from off the pace and won like a good thing, like she's supposed to be. So that's why you see the blinkers go on after that maiden win.
That very well could be it. She has experience on and off track. The 1 Giddy Up I'll use, they tried her on the turf last time out, Anthony Pecoraro, but she has faced winners. That was down at Tampa, which I think is always a positive thing. You see several horses, your 2 horses that should be bet. They just broke their maiden, so at least she's faced winners before in the past, and that was off of a layoff. This will be first time Lasix, now going back to, in my opinion, a preferred surface. Now, she's going to have to work out a trip from the inside at 6 furlongs. Not always an easy task, especially with a horse that has some speed, but I think she might be sneaky down there.
All right, Pecoraro, always a sneaky good trainer here at Laurel Park. I'll throw the 8 in there. Girls Got Rhythm. You like the 7. Dandy Candy. Well, we turn the page here. Look at the late pick 3 as we're coming up here on the first race. Race 8. We're back on the turf, on the Fort Marcy turf course here, going a mile and a 16th on the Fort Marcy rails at 87 feet. Wide open, claiming 25,000. My best bet of the day here, number 4, Dancing Lounge, for reliable connections here. They were the best bet connections on Friday with 2 wonders. This horse just a real good third last time in a 3 other than allowance condition to Perfect Title, who's a stakes horse.
Yes, Perfect Title was Grade 3 place going against Heart to Heart in the River City Handicap. So he had some back class, and this horse, even though they stepped him up against 3 other than company and couldn't manage to quite get the distance, he did put in a solid race. He's a 6-time winner at this distance. He should be forwardly placed. Not only that, Helm is a horse that I singled, I think, in the pick 6 on Friday. So I like that horse. He just got beat at the wire by
Whisker.
a nose, a whisker.
A head bob whisker.
That was tough, but Dancing Lounge, he is the one to beat in here. I'm trying to get creative and beat him with another horse with the 7 Noble Road. This is another horse who I think prefers this distance. They've tried him shorter. They've tried him, they haven't tried him longer, but they have tried him at the mile and 7.5. Between these 2 horses, you get Dancing Lounge and Noble Road. Even Dreams Cut Short, they've at least faced solid, 2 other than company, and I think these 3 horses kind of rule the roost in terms of class.
All right, well, you're going to get a nice price on that one. Bernie Houghton, very capable trainer. He's good with horses coming off the layoff. The horse has been working well up there at Penn. You see the sharp half-mile work, April 26th up there. I throw the 10 in there, Mucho Mas Macho, for trainer Niall Seville. Horacio Caramanos aboard. Caramanos was aboard last time, coming out of the Helm Dancing Lounge race. This horse was 4 wide on the far turn, a good third that day.
Yeah, that one, and that was kind of my French player. I picked that horse fourth, I think. So that's when you always, good, sharp connection. So you always have to be cognizant of that. We'll move on to the 9th race. So here, Stan, heading out to the Kelso, 5.5 furlongs. There's 2 other than allowance optional claimer. And you and I both agree on the 3, Awake the Day for trainer Robbie Bales. And this horse, you know, she put in some really, really solid late energy last time out. I don't believe, do we have a replay on this?
Yep, we got
Okay.
a video here on the 3, Awake Today, in her last start. Monster Sleeping, 2 Wonders, strong running line here.
A very strong running line, and we can see her just, she's not highlighted. Oh yeah, she is highlighted here on the back half of your screen right there. And she really looked like she was perched and ready to go, and putting in a really solid race. She was closing from off of it. She just got narrowly defeated. We're talking about 2 Wonders who came back to win an open $25,000 race last Friday. And we're also talking about Monster Sleeping, who's a multiple stakes winner. So, you know, and I like the fact that Horacio Caramanos gets aboard. He's always very, very dangerous with these turf sprinters. So one that you got to definitely pay attention to here.
And Caramanos was aboard last September here at Laurel Park in the Oakley Stakes when this horse was a very good second to Exaggerated, who's a nice runner. And I thought that was a very strong race coming, running against Monster Sleeping there and 2 Wonders. So we both like the 3, Awake the Day. The 11's I almost made the 3 my best bet. The only reason I didn't, because she is kind of down there on the inside, and there are some nice horses to the outside. The 11, Seaside Schiller, first-time Lasix here for trainer Michael Matz. Trevor McCarthy aboard, and this horse had a sharp win in her debut last July going short, and then they tried her long, gave her some time off, and a nice allowance win going short here at Laurel Park last October.
She's going to have to prove that she can work out a trip from that outside post and that she can deliver off the layoff. She has shown that she can prove fresh, but Michael Matzbarn, usually, you know, they're not looking for that first race off the layoff. It's more so the second, third start off the layoff. So that's where I thought that she might be vulnerable. The 2 Hidden Treat, even though she's far lower than others in terms of buyer speed figures, I think she's a filly that has some talent, and we very well could see her move up now. You know, when she did sprint on the turf, it was technically in her 2-year-old season back in October. We could see her improve off of those figures. She's shown a liking for the turf, for the dirt. She just didn't like long. And talking to Arnaud Delacour before the Swedish chant, he said, you know, this is just kind of an experiment that didn't pan out too well, so cutting her back, I think, is the right move.
Well, and that was the distance. She won the debut race last October here, maiden special weight. She was well backed at the window that day as the favorite, and won one as the favorite that day. So a tough inside post coming off the layoff. I think that's why I go against her. I throw the 9 in there. Penny's Appeal coming off the layoff for trainer Howard Wolfendale. He's had this 7-year-old mare for a while, and Nick Juarez has won on this horse before. Nick Juarez won a nice 2 other than allowance condition last May at Pimlico. Nick Juarez actually has won a couple races on this horse. So she's a talented turf runner, made almost $140,000 on the grass. See how she's ready to roll here off the layoff. Howard Wolfendale, very good turf sprint trainer.
Absolutely. And throw in Royal Renee, thinking that he might need one race off of the layoff, but that horse should be closing late. As we approach the 10th and final race, though, a maiden $10,000 event, 6 furlongs on the main track. Scratch the also eligibles and the number 2 in here, and I just land on the 13 outfielder. I think the dropping class is going to do the trick. This horse has been very consistent against higher level maiden claimers, just closing from off of the pace, should be able to get reasonable pace in front, like the 14L Maxi, who could clear from the outside. So I'm going to stick to kind of the outside horses in here, although I am a bit scared. I wanted to use the 12, Are You Ready for a Miracle, on the pick 6. I just didn't have the funds to do so.
Yeah, I did. Hammy's other first-timer earlier on, I picked the horse in the top 3. I can't pick all his first-timers on top, but I'm going to pick this first-timer on top here. We know the story here with Hammy. Very good with his first-time starters. This is a well-bred filly by Big Brown. He gets Alex Cintron aboard. Some good works down there at Ellery. Some good works here at Laurel Park. Nice outside post for the debut. Nice 8-1 price, hopefully, on the 13. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Are you ready for a miracle? Number 12. That's my top pick there.
Not to mention the horse should like a little bit of moisture in the ground too on the main track, so that could move him up as well. I was
Big
very
Brown, yeah.
scared to not put this horse in the pick 6. So if you can, maybe throw in another one there in the final leg.
And well, the 13, a scary dropper. I have that one on my pick 5, absolutely. So, all right, we're about 21 minutes until first race. We're on the grass today. Turf course listed as good. Main track sloppy. Ben's Cat, he's ready to roll here in race 4. Good luck. Dave Robin coming up with all of today's scratches and changes.